let's get started with a smoked sausage and veggie frittata. I start this recipe with a red pepper. Why? Because it's what I had in my fridge. That's the best part about a frittata. You can just put whatever you want in it. If you've got peppers in your fridge, put peppers. If you've got asparagus, put asparagus. Whatever you have, it goes in. I top and tail the red bell pepper and take out the seeds and membranes. I've seen about 100 different ways to do this, but this is the one that works best for me. Once you got your pepper cleaned up, you then put it on the board flat with the skin facing down. Then slice that pepper into sticks and arrange those sticks into a pile and cut across them to make a dice. Now, I always have a problem keeping my sticks in place. Does anybody have any ideas of how to fix this problem? Be sure to mention it in the comments below. Then onto an onion. Yellow onion here. I'm going to chop off the top of it and then leave the root intact but cut through it. Now the first attempt at this onion, not so grand. You'll hear the knife kind of keeps getting stuck, and it's more so tearing through the onion than it is cutting through it. So, I mean, it is cutting, but I didn't like the way it did it. So I went back and sharpened my knife, wiped my knife off, and let's see, boom, like a knife through an onion. There you go. Beautiful. Now I like to cut the bottoms off of my garlic cloves before I peel them. I always end up eating that little tough end, and that's no fun for anybody. So we're going to crush our garlic under the side of our knife and then add some kosher salt to abrade the garlic. Make sure that it breaks up with your knife. And then I'm going to chop through it a couple times with a rough chop and give this a tappy-choppy thing. I've seen this on food TV shows a couple times. Yeah, Chef Morimoto loves to do that, so I want to do it too. Not sure if it really works, but it looks great. You're going to use the side of your knife to scrape it against the cutting board. And this is going to almost make like a garlic paste that you're going to use. Works great in recipes. Now it's on to the meat. We're going to use smoked sausage for this one, so cut it in half widthwise so you have two separate sections, and then cut down the length of those sections to make 4 wedge-shaped long pieces. You'll do that with the other side of the sausage too, so you get them all into a dice similar in shape to the ones that you did for your peppers and your onions. Now this is the part where I realized I had some green beans in the fridge that I hadn't yet tackled, and I was going to lose those probably in a day or so, so it's time to cut them up and put them in the frittata. It's about here where Fonzie jumps the shark. I have no idea what I did with these green beans, but here you are. Oh, a bias cut. How fancy and irregular. Anyway, throw them into a pot of salted boiling water for about 30 seconds to a minute, not much more than that. Afterward, plunge them into some ice water. That'll keep them nice and green. Now it's time to grate some cheese. I'm using a Cheddar-Gruyere that I picked up from Aldi. Love their cheese selection there. And now I'm going to break up some eggs. I got 6 eggs.
That's too expensive.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Anyway, look at these 2 eggs. One of them is free range. The other one is cage free. Tell me which one you think is which. Not that it really matters. I've been reading a lot about it, and it seems that nutritionally, eggs are pretty much eggs. But it's about the treatment of the animals that matters, so if you're not buying cage-free or free-range, don't worry so much about it. You're still feeding your family. That's what counts. Or yourself. Now, whip those eggs around with some half and half and some salt and pepper to get a nice scrambled eggy mixture into the pan with a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of butter. Swirl it around and then add your sausage. Brown the sausage in the pan. Be sure you leave it. Don't just keep swirling it around. Let it sit for a few minutes on each side so you get some nice browning. Once you see some good browning on the sausage, it's about time to add our vegetables. We're going to start with the peppers and the onions. Add a little salt, a little pepper, and saute away. And now it's time for a sing-along. Buckle my shoes. Shut the door. Pick up sticks. Lay them straight. A big fat hen. That's right, we do all sorts of fun stuff here on Tim and Food, including adding garlic. So add the garlic to our pan with all of our lovely ingredients there, coming getting color, delicious, yummy. And then that fragrant garlic for about 30 seconds in the pan. It'll be time to add our green beans, fresh from the blanching. And that's everybody in the pool. Now it's time for the eggs. Pour the eggs right over the mixture, and then just use your spoon and shake the pan a little bit to even out the ingredients in the pan so that they cook evenly. Be sure you scrape down the sides and get all those ingredients into the egg mixture. Top it with your grated cheese. And I actually go for another cheese on this one. I put some Parmesan Romano, just the shaker stuff. It seems to work perfectly for applications like this. You get like a little brown, crispy, crusty bits on top. And I had a sprig of fresh thyme, so I use that too. If you don't have it, no biggie. You got fresh herbs, use them. You got fresh veg, like a spinach you want to put on top, fine, that too. Once we're all ready, we're going to top this with just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and then underneath the broiler we go to get good and brown and set on top. It's only a few minutes under the broiler, maybe 1-2 minutes tops. And then the piece de resistance. Ta-da! Look at that. Put it out onto your board. I took some feta cheese. Again, it's what I had in my fridge, so I sprinkled it on top. If you've got Parmesan, use Parmesan. Serve it hot out of the oven or at room temperature. It's up to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram @TimandFood. Thanks for watching.